The West Philippine Sea churns with tension as the Uniza May 4, a small Filipino supply boat, pushes toward the rusting BRP Sierra Madre. Its mission: deliver food and water to Filipino Marines holding the line on a grounded warship, a symbol of sovereignty. Blocking their path is a massive Chinese Coast Guard vessel, its horn blaring a warning across the waves. The Filipino captain's grip tightens on the wheel, eyes locked on the steel wall ahead. He's seen these tactics before: shadowing, intimidation, and now, the threat of force. Suddenly, water cannons erupt. Powerful jets slam into the Filipino boat, drenching the crew and battering the hull. The Chinese message is clear: turn back or else. But the Filipino crew refuses to yield. Outgunned and outnumbered, they press on, their battered boat a symbol of defiance. Each supply run is a gamble, a test of nerve and national resolve. The world watches as water, not bullets, becomes the weapon of choice in this modern standoff. The stakes are high, not just for the crew, but for the entire nation. This is the front line of a new kind of conflict, where intimidation replaces open warfare. The Filipino mission is both humanitarian and patriotic: resupply their Marines, assert their rights. International law is on their side, but the sea is ruled by power. The crew absorbs the punishment, refusing to be bullied. Their courage is broadcast worldwide, a small boat standing up to a giant. This moment captures the struggle: courage versus coercion, law versus might. The peace of an entire region hangs in the balance. The standoff has only just begun. This is David versus Goliath, 21st century style. The Philippines fields aging, repurposed ships, lifelines, not warships, crewed by sailors whose greatest weapons are courage and conviction. Opposite them, China deploys the world's largest, most advanced navy and coast guard. The imbalance is stark: steel giants versus wooden hulls, technology versus tenacity. Chinese ships tower over Filipino boats, blocking paths and intimidating with sheer size. This dominance is strategic, meant to make resistance seem futile. Filipino crews know they can't win a fight, but that's not their mission. Their goal: endure, complete the resupply, and hold the line. Every run is a high-stakes gamble, a test of discipline and restraint. One wrong move could spark a crisis. The courage here is quiet: ordinary people in extraordinary danger, refusing to back down. China's tactics are calibrated to intimidate, not to trigger war. For the Filipinos, every mission is a tightrope walk over a sea of potential conflict. Their discipline is as vital as their bravery. They must absorb aggression without giving China an excuse for escalation. This is not just a contest of shispatias, but sardams over sonda denim, anda perpandas. Willpower and restraint. The world watches as the underdog stands firm. At the heart of this conflict sits the BRP Sierra Madre, a rusting, grounded relic turned outpost. Once a World War II landing ship, it was run aground in 1999 on Ayungin Shoal to assert Philippine sovereignty. Now, it's a decaying fortress, manned by Marines living in harsh, isolated conditions. Their presence is a daily assertion of the Philippines' claim, backed by international law. The Sierra Madre is more than a ship. It's a symbol and a stake in the ground. The 2016 Hague Tribunal ruled the shoal belongs to the Philippines, but China rejects this, calling it Renai Jiao. China's goal: force the Philippines to abandon the ship, letting it collapse so they can seize the shoal. Every resupply run is a battle to keep the outpost alive. If the Marines leave, the Philippines loses its foothold. The ship's continued presence is a small but vital victory, a living marker of sovereignty. The struggle is about more than supplies. It's about refusing to be pushed out. The Sierra Madre stands as a testament to the power of persistence over brute force. It's a lonely post, but a critical one. Each successful mission reaffirms the Philippines' rights and the rule of law. The rusting hull is a symbol of a nation's refusal to yield. In this contest, even a wreck can be a fortress. China's strategy is subtle but relentless: gray zone tactics that stop short of open war. Instead of warships, China uses its Coast Guard and maritime militia, civilian-looking vessels acting with military coordination. They swarm, block, and intimidate, all while maintaining plausible deniability. Water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, even military-grade lasers. Each action is aggressive, but just below the threshold of war. The goal: harass and pressure the Philippines into retreating without triggering a military response. This puts Manila in a bind. How do you answer an attack that isn't technically an attack? Responding with force risks escalation. Doing nothing cedes ground. China exploits this ambiguity, eroding Philippine control without firing a shot. It's a slow, calculated squeeze, conflict by 1,000 cuts. The South China Sea is a global artery. 1/3 of world shipping, over $5 trillion in trade, passes through these waters. Instability here threatens supply chains, raises shipping costs, and risks shortages worldwide. China's actions challenge the principle of free and open seas, undermining the rules-based order. The 2016 tribunal ruling, based on UNCLOS, affirmed Philippine rights, but China's defiance sets a dangerous precedent. If international law is ignored, the whole system is at risk. That's why nations from the US to Japan to Europe conduct patrols and call for freedom of navigation. What's at stake isn't just reefs, it's the principle that disputes are settled by law, not force. The world's economy depends on keeping these waters open and governed by rules, not might. The US-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty looms over every standoff in these waters. The US has made clear an armed attack on Philippine forces or vessels in the South China Sea will trigger its defense commitments. This security guarantee is the main reason China hasn't escalated to open conflict. The treaty raises the stakes. Any clash could draw in the world's most powerful military. Regular joint patrols and military exercises reinforce the alliance's credibility. US aid and training help modernize the Philippine military, sending a clear signal to Beijing, but China tests the limits, using gray zone tactics to avoid crossing the line into armed attack. Water cannons, ramming, are these acts of war? The US says attacks on the Coast Guard count, but ambiguity remains. The alliance is a shield, but one constantly probed for weaknesses. The US must show resolve without being drawn into conflict. The treaty's credibility is on the line, as is the region's stability. The world watches to see if the shield will hold. China's aggression carries real economic risks, both for the world and for itself. A conflict here would disrupt global trade, but also choke off China's own vital imports. Already, uncertainty is driving companies to diversify supply chains away from China. Foreign investment is threatened, and China's reputation as a reliable partner is eroding. Diplomatically, China's actions are pushing neighbors closer to the US and strengthening alliances like the Quad and AUKUS. Instead of gaining influence, China risks isolation. Images of Chinese ships bullying smaller nations damage its global standing. The pursuit of territory could cost China long-term economic and diplomatic stability. Short-term gains may lead to strategic losses. The Philippines has countered China's might with transparency and alliances. By documenting and publicizing every incident, Manila exposes China's aggression to the world. Journalists ride along, videos go viral, and the narrative is shaped by facts, not propaganda. This radical transparency has rallied international support and denied China plausible deniability. At the same time, the Philippines has strengthened alliances with the US, Japan, Australia, and others. More joint exercises, new defense pacts and multilateral forums build a coalition for collective security. Filipino crews show restraint and professionalism, refusing to escalate despite provocation. Their discipline denies China any excuse for greater force. The combination of transparency, alliances, and professionalism has become Manila's most effective defense. In this asymmetric conflict, information and unity are powerful weapons. The West Philippine Sea standoff is more than a territorial dispute, it's a test of the global order. China wields brute force and historical claims. The Philippines counters with law, resilience, and alliances. The outcome will shape whether the future is ruled by law or by might. If China prevails, it signals that power trumps principle. If the Philippines holds the line, it's a victory for every nation that values rules over coercion. The world is watching. Will restraint and cooperation win out over intimidation? The Filipino sailors aren't just defending a ship, they're defending an idea. In this new era, true strength lies in conviction, not just firepower. The standoff isn't over, but the path to victory may be found in restraint, not conflict. The battle for the sea is also a battle for the future.